I love talking to myself. This is the greatest thing ever. Why haven't I done this sooner?
I'm caught in a vessel that I can't keep healthy and clean.
Okay, so I thought it would be a good idea to make a video about what inspired me to go vegan and the reasons behind why I made that decision, and tell you a little bit also of what it's done for me and what it's done for my life and my health. So, I went vegan when I was 16 years old. I was a sophomore at Marian Catholic High School, and I remember it very clearly the day that I made this decision. It stands out in my mind for good reasons that you're about to find out. So, biology class, dissection time of the year. I dissected the worm and I was totally fine because when I was a kid, like, I loved bugs and I loved insects, and I just always had my hands in the dirt picking up worms and beetles and things, and yeah, I love nature, man. I still love nature, man. Anyway, we have to dissect fetal pigs. I have always been an animal lover, and yeah, so it was really easy for me to make that connection between the fact that we were dissecting animals that were murdered, that were aborted on purpose. When I realized that, I was disgusted. I was sad. I wanted to cry. And what was worse, what really drove me over the edge, was how disrespectful my classmates were. They didn't make that connection. They didn't realize this thing was alive and had feelings and felt pain, and its life was taken away so that you could learn something. And instead of learning, I remember this person that I won't name, but you know who you are if you're watching this. He sliced off one of its hooves and was just waving it around in my face and basically chasing me with it. I just started crying, like, hysterically, like I had to leave the classroom and go to the office because I was a mess. And from that day forward, I knew that I couldn't eat pork, and when I went home that night, I did research on vegetarianism and veganism and watched PETA videos and things like that, and I told my parents, I was like, hey, I'm not eating meat anymore. I know you're hunters, I know we have dead animals hanging up in our living room, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to be a part of that anymore. They laughed at me and thought it was just a phase, but it wasn't, thankfully. From that day forward, I never ate any meat. It wasn't until later that I decided to give up dairy because I saw a video that was about dairy farms and the cruelty that takes place on factory farms for dairy. And if you've never watched one of those videos, I highly recommend that you do, and I'll link one in the description box below if you're brave enough to actually bear witness to what your food choices are actually doing to animals and to the planet. Once I finally kicked the dairy habit, I mean, I had terrible, terrible asthma. I was hospitalized for it as a kid. I would get sick every winter. Every winter I would get horrible chest congestion, and I would have to be on inhalers and these breathing treatments. They would make my heart race and they would make me shake, and I used to hate having to take them. It was the worst. It was literally the worst. It was like some monster with this like smoke coming out of my face, and I'd have to do it in school in front of like my friends, and it was the weirdest thing ever. When I would play basketball, I would need my inhaler. I sucked at sports because I couldn't fucking breathe. My body was just so mucused and clogged up that I literally just I sucked at sports. Like, I was picked last. Now that I have been following a vegan diet for these past 4 years, I can do handstands. I can run 6 miles without running out of breath. I never get the chest congestion colds unless I'm stressed out. So if you do have asthma and you're watching this, cut out the dairy and I guarantee you'll get better. 100%. Dairy causes mucus buildup. It just does. It's pus. There are like hundreds of thousands of pus cells in like every tiny gram of milk. Like, you're eating the bovine secretions meant for a baby cow to gain 2,000 pounds in a couple months. What do you think it's going to happen? It's going to inflame your body. It's going to cause mucus buildup. It's going to make you gain weight, slow down your digestion. It's going to make your skin break out. You're going to be moody and emotional. You're going to have cravings. You gotta cut out the dairy if you want to get rid of like 90% of your illnesses. So yeah, I went vegan for the animals initially, and eventually learned that it was actually the healthiest thing I could be doing for myself. Another great thing that has happened is it cured my eating disorders. I used to starve myself and then binge out and then throw up and starve myself and overexercise and binge and throw up. I was desperate to have the body that I wanted. Making the decision to eat foods that make you feel good and are vibrant and full of life, they make you full of life in return. You are what you eat. It transformed me from the inside out because every cell in your body is built off of what you feed it. I don't know, like every 7 months or something, your entire body renews itself. 5 years into being vegan, my entire body is now made of plants. I look and feel completely different than I did as a teenager. I feel so much more fit and active. The degree of happiness I have for life, like, I didn't even want to wake up in the morning as a teenager. I felt sad and tired from restricting my calories and just feeling like I wasn't good enough and struggling in school because my body wasn't functioning properly on how little food I was feeding it. Like, I didn't take part in sports or any extracurricular activity. Eating this way has helped transform me into the person that I want to be. Once those toxins are out of you, you think more clearly. You start to feel more spiritual. Going vegan is what inspired me to start a yoga practice, and in that yoga practice, I found so much more than flexibility. By sharing this message, if I could inspire anybody to just make a difference for yourself and for the planet and feel good just knowing every day that you're doing something actively to better yourself in the world, like just by eating. Like, lay on your couch all day and eat vegan food and you saved like how many fucking animals and how much greenhouse gases just by not eating animals, just sitting there. Like, that's amazing. You can never have a bad day because every day you wake up knowing you didn't kill anything, nothing had to die for you to live. That's so freeing. Like, how beautiful is that? So many people are just suffering. There's so much suffering, and it doesn't need to be. Going vegan solves everything, from your own health problems, as well as healing the planet and the ecosystem, so that in the future, our children can actually have an ocean with fish in it and breathe air without needing oxygen masks, because that's where we're headed. And I don't think a lot of people want to wake up to that fact. And if your conscience is speaking to you right now, I urge you to try out this lifestyle for yourself.